The night air was cold, the kind that made the neon lights above the small gas station flicker. Emma locked the register, her hands trembling slightly from exhaustion. It was nearly midnight, another long shift done, another night walking alone to the bus stop through the empty parking lot. She pulled her jacket tighter and stepped outside, turning the key to lock the glass door. The jingling of the doorbell was the only sound until she heard the low growl of laughter from the far end of the lot. 3 men leaned against a car, cigarettes glowing in the dark. She'd seen them before, always hanging around, always watching. Her stomach tightened. She lowered her head, quickened her steps, but one of them called out, "Hey sweetheart, leaving already? We were just getting bored." She didn't respond. Just kept walking. But their footsteps followed, crunching the gravel behind her. "Don't be rude," another one said, stepping in front of her. The sour smell of alcohol hit her face. "We just want to talk." Emma froze. Her heart pounded so loud she could barely hear. The street was empty, not a single car, not a single person. "I said move," she whispered, voice trembling. The tallest one smirked. "Or what?" And then, before she could even scream, the deep rumble of engines rolled through the night. Low, steady, like thunder building across the horizon, the thugs turned their heads. Out of the darkness, 6 bikes rolled in, chrome glinting beneath the streetlights. Their headlights cut through the mist, and the men's smirks faded. The leader, a broad man with a leather vest and long gray beard, killed his engine first. The others followed, surrounding the scene like a silent wall of steel. Emma stood frozen, tears stinging her eyes. The tall biker climbed off his Harley, his boots hitting the ground with purpose. "Everything all right here, ma'am?" he asked calmly, his voice low but firm. The thugs shifted uneasily. "We were just talking." "Funny," the biker interrupted, his eyes narrowing. "Didn't sound like talking." One of the others muttered, "Come on, man, it's not worth it. Let's go." But the leader didn't move. He just stared until the men backed away, muttering curses as they stumbled toward their car. The bikers didn't chase them. They didn't have to. Their presence alone was enough. Emma's knees gave out, and she sat down on the curb, her hands shaking uncontrollably. The biker knelt beside her, removing his gloves. "You okay?" She nodded quickly, though her voice cracked when she said, "Why yeah, thank you. I didn't know what to do." He gave a small, kind smile. "You don't have to thank us. We were just grabbing coffee. Saw what was happening from the diner across the street." She blinked. "You were there?" He nodded toward the glowing sign behind them. "Yeah. My guys and I were talking about heading home. Guess fate had other plans." The others stayed nearby, quiet, respectful, as he helped her to her feet. "Name's Rick," he said softly. "We ride through this area often. You shouldn't have to walk alone like that." She let out a shaky laugh. "I can't afford a car. The bus stops 2 blocks away." Rick looked toward one of the other bikers. "Jack, ride behind her. Make sure she gets there safe." Emma tried to protest, but he raised a hand. "No arguments. We don't leave people behind in the dark." As she started walking again, the rumble of engines followed her like an unspoken promise. Each time she glanced back, she saw the headlights glowing, steady, protective. When she reached the stop, she turned, her eyes full of gratitude. "Thank you," she said again, her voice soft but strong now. Rick nodded once. "Just doing what anyone should." The bus arrived, its brakes hissing. She climbed aboard and looked out the window as the bikers disappeared into the fog, their taillights fading one by one, until the night grew quiet again. The next morning, Emma returned to work. The memory of that night still lingered, but so did something else, a quiet reassurance that maybe not everyone in the world turned away when someone needed help. Later that week, as she started another late shift, she noticed something taped to the glass door, a small note written in neat block letters: "You're never alone. The riders are watching." Below it was a symbol, a winged skull painted in black ink.